Dale was not able to play last week. Saturday with Anarchy Mike got canceled. He had to go in and work. There has been no Warhammer lately besides the one time I got to go out last Saturday and game with Mike. So I'm Jones, and I sure hope Bootleg is able to game tomorrow. I'm hoping we can do NIDS and Space Marines. My Space Marines need a victory. I need to beat the NIDS. And with some info that you guys had given me a while back when I'd originally asked for it, I'm hoping I can pull out a victory. But on this video, I'm not going to have really any new work to show you. I haven't had a chance to work on anything. But what I do have is basically a question I'd kind of like to ask the community, get your guys' input on it. Okay, when me and Anarchy, before Dale first started this, we had decided we were going to do a campaign, and that's what drew Dale into it, which we've never really got to the campaign. But we were going to have allies. We were going to have your main force and then allies. Well, we didn't look in the back of the book to see who could ally with who. At that point in time, we really didn't care. We just wanted to play, play. So Anarchy Mike that's when he picked up his Necrons. He was playing Chaos Space Marines up until then. So he was having Chaos and Necrons. I picked up the TA. I'd been playing straight up Space Marines, the Ultramarines, and I picked up the TA because I thought they looked cool. I liked the way they looked. So that was going to be our forces. Then when Dale joined Bootleg, he took the NIDS and Eldar. Well, recently it's come to Dale's opinion, looking through the books, that he does not believe that TA and Space Marines would ever align and be friends or help each other, because in the book it says that they're hated enemies and they would never join each other unless there was a killer story behind it. Well, I'm hoping to provide you guys a killer story to get a little feedback and see if I can help persuade Dale to let me have the TA as my Space Marines allies. If you watched my last video, which was the fight between the Necrons and the TA, you know that I am taking Commander Farsight as my commander. He, by what it says in the Codex, he is a breakaway faction from the main TA Empire philosophy. He does not believe in the for the greater good theory. He's out for himself. Self-goal, self-worth, self-destruction of other things, not with the aid of the Empire. So I'm going to tell you guys a slight story, if you will, and you guys tell me in just post down below, and tell me if you think from what I've said or what I've thought of, is any possibility that the TA, just Commander Farsight and his forces now, would align with a small faction or faction of Space Marines. Maybe not even the main Emperor having any say in it, just kind of like a small faction that is helping each other. Hold on and I'll get to the story. I gotta go get me some more Mountain Dew. Get this story started. Okay. It opens up on a planet deep within the system that is now a Space Marine outpost, was once 50 years ago a major orc horde planet. The orcs were totally annihilated from the planet, so the Space Marines thought, and for the past 50 years there has been no occurrences and the colony has thrived. Then, without warning, orcs started to reappear out of hidden tunnels. They had been living subterranean, in the underground, rebuilding their forces. Their numbers had increased tenfold. Since nothing had ever happened on the planet within 50 years, most of the main forces has been pulled off the planet. Now, Space Marines, they always leave some type of contingency behind, some small force, but it wasn't very much. The battle ensued, and they were going to be overrun. There was no doubt about it. The Space Marines were lost. They had got a distress call out back to the Empire. The Empire had dispatched a rescue team, but the forces on the planet knew that help would never come in time. They had picked up on their sensors more ships entering the outer ring of the solar system. Once they got close enough to scan, they found out it was a tall strike force. First thought of the Space Marine commander at the time was, oh shit, I'm going to be getting struck from both angles, both directions. I'm hit, I'm worse than dead, I'm gone. Well, needless to say, the TAW landed on the far side of the planet. Couldn't tell if it was a normal landing or a crash landing. Too much emphasis was put on holding off the orcs. What surprised the commander is that help did arrive faster than believed, but it was still not going to be enough. That what they sent was probably just a rogue ship that was in the area to help. They knew that even with these added forces, they would be overrun, especially if they were now facing two enemies. Once the actual true battle started, the Space Marines noticed that the TAW were not engaging them in any fights, even if they ran into each other out on the battlefield while they were both fighting the orcs, because come to find out that the TAW must have been tracking the orc or an orc force or whatever and wound up coming to this planet searching for them. So they were more worried about fighting the orcs and the Space Marines at the time. Remember, this is Commander Farsight. The battle ensued. It went on. The siege lasted for a month. At the end of the month, when the orcs had totally been annihilated and obliterated from the planet, the commander of the Space Marine forces and Commander Farsight met on the battlefield. It was a tense meeting. Neither side knew if the other side was going to strike, because by all rights they are mortal enemies. They had impressed each other during this month-long siege, though. They had both showed tactics that the other found impressive, and just the outright ability to put aside hatred and fight with each other, but not on the same side. You know, they never did really join forces, but you know, if one side saw a battle going on over here, they'd fire some support fire, you know, or if the enemy they were fighting fell back and went to run, the Space Marines would intercept and wipe them out, or vice versa. The commander of the Space Marines and Commander TAW came to a general understanding that they both had mutual enemies. And why have constant battle amongst ourselves? Especially when the commander found out that Commander Farsight was not following the true TAW Empire anymore, or whatever set. I think it's a set. Didn't follow the set anymore. He really started to like him and asked him if they could form an alliance, a bond, just between his forces and Commander Farsight. He said, I can't speak for the Emperor. I can't speak for any other Space Marine we run into or any other Emperor things, but I call you friend. Will you call me friend? And I'm going to kind of leave the rest up to you guys to tell me what you think. Could it be possible? Is it possible? Or am I full of shit? Let me know. You know, Handyman don't care. Everyone has their opinion. So be honest. Let me know. Post it below. Hold on, guys, and I'll get to today's pewter and McFarlane's Tortured Soul piece. Okay, people, here's today's, or this installment's piece of pewter. This is the Dragon Smog. He's laying on a pile of gold. Well, treasure, because there's other things. There's goblets, crystal balls. Okay, and here's this week's Twisted Soul. Okay, guys, that's going to wrap it up for now. I just got one other thing. I would like to thank Bootleg Dale for the hand-me-downs. I think that's kind of funny, but he got new files, so he passed his old files and clippers onto me. I've been using just utility knife, modeling knife to do mine with. This will make stuff a lot better. Thanks, Dale. Well, everybody else, stay tuned for more stuff from Handymanjim.